Hello, I'm back, and just wanted to give a little update, as well as point out some things. Well, collect actually some ideas that I've been talking about in various episodes about the strange connectedness that's going on. So, well, first the little update. Things are going great. I could never have imagined or expected actually things going this good with me and my biological family. So I've had contact with every single one of them so far, either in person, a few, or through contacting, messaging, texting, things like that. With the exception of my oldest brother Eugene, who's physically far removed, the furthest from me. But I reached out to him, and I'm happy. I'm happy with that I did, and I'm sure at some point I'll hear from him, no matter how strong of a connection he wants, and that's all good. Now, I also pointed out that as we found my father, as I pointed out. We know who that is. Technically, we know between one or two brothers, and what my big brother Scott, who's 5 years older than me, told me that he remembered. He narrowed the two down to the one specific man. Stalked a little on Facebook. I believe I found him directly. I know I found his son, and I found my father's brother. And my biological father and his brother were kind of key to the whole story of what happened between mom, them, and me being born. The physical similarities between me and my biological father's side and his son that I found, whose name is also John, and my my uncle, his brother, the resemblance is amazingly strong between us all. But we're gonna see what happens with that. I have a lot on my plate right now, as everyone knows. Virginia was an amazing trip. I'm sorry I didn't kind of riff a little at the end of the last video about it, but I just felt a little crunched for time. But I did. I had an amazing trip, and one of the funniest things, and me and my wife Kristen are still laughing about it, is that when my nephew and his wife and my niece picked me up at the airport, we get in the car and we're talking. And again, it comes up how, my nephew always knew that he had an Uncle John and knew that I was missing. And funny thing is, my niece Ryan, she pipes in kind of laughing. She's like, yeah, I knew about you, but I didn't know you were lost. I didn't know you were missing. that was really funny, because it kind of, to one degree, it shows how active my memory has been in the family, that my niece knew about me but didn't know I was missing. Just thought that since they were in Virginia, I was just physically removed from their lives. Amazing. Still, I'm telling you guys, I'm gonna go to my grave with this still being one of the most impossible things for me to wrap my head around. That, as far as they're concerned, I may have been missing and lost, but I was always remembered. That means a lot. Now, I'm going to be seeing my sister April this Saturday. I'm going to give me a chance to meet her for the first time. She lives in Jersey, and she's coming into the city. Actually, she's going upstate New York to see Aunt Audrey. So I'm going to make a trip up and finally get to meet my sister April, and I'm really looking forward to that. I'm so happy to get a chance to connect with her. I don't think Linda is going to be there. She might. I'm not sure if my sister Linda is going to be able to stop by or not. But even if she doesn't, me and Linda and her daughter Nick, we have plans for next Saturday after that. So it's all good. It's exploding, actually. As being an only child my whole life, I've gotten really, really used to my schedule, knowing what my time is and how to manage it to the max. Because I like to, things don't have to be scheduled down to the minute for me, but I do enjoy having a schedule, knowing that I'm doing A, B, and C today, E, F, G tomorrow. I really enjoy that, and I cram my time very tight to keep busy. I like being busy. I like doing something. And now this has all been thrown to the sharks, so to speak, and I'm scrambling to reinvent my schedule. And it's happening slowly, but I'm getting a foothold here. So that's really good, because I want to maximize the time that I have rediscovering my old family, because we have 50 years to catch up on, and they don't know my story. I don't know all of their stories, and 50 years of just everyday sibling bonding that we've missed on, and so we're trying to capture as much of that as we can. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about, and I'm glad my wife got me this notebook specifically just for this whole journey that I'm going on, my journey journal, my journey journal. But I've been collecting these strange occurrences that have been going on, and I still feel like I'm missing one. There was something I heard, and I'm missing that. But if so, it'll come back up. It'll come back up, and I'm sure more things are going to happen. So this is, I call this page, you might have saw when I showed the book, I call this page Strange Connections. Now, first of all, we just have to start with family, and we have to start with names. So I'm going to start with my biological family, and where possible, I try to use the more formal terms, while my adopted family, I'm going to try to use the more familiar terms. So my bio family, my biological father is John Sabry. My biological mother is Barbara Ann Odell. And her sister, my aunt who helped arrange my adoption, is Aunt Audrey. Okay, easy to follow. Now, on my adopted family, my father's name is John. My mother's name is Audrey. And her sister, my aunt who helped arrange and put together this whole adoption of me, is Barbara, whose daughter, my cousin, is Barbara Ann. Just the connection between the names alone is annoying, in the sense that, when I speak about one set of parents or parent and the other, the names get very mixed up, as you can imagine. Now, this kind of these next two things really blew my mind. So my big brother Scott is 5 years older than me, told me that during the 90s, he worked at a Pizza Hut in Yonkers near Scarsdale. I know that Pizza Hut. I was in there often during the 90s. I was feet away from my biological brother. We could have even passed. Okay, now, this next bit is about my cousin Josette. Now, apparently Scott, I think, went with him a couple of times, but mainly this is Josette. So her and her family spent their summer vacations at Seaside Heights, New Jersey. That's where me and my family went every year. And we went at the same time, it turns out. I stayed at the Ocean Terrace Motel, and she stayed, down the block and around the corner at Poolside. We were there at the same time. We were a block away from each other. We could have been on the same rides. We could have been fighting over who's next on Miss Pac-Man. Whose quarter is that next on the screen with the line of quarters? Some of you know what I'm talking about. And the other thing that I remembered so far that I wrote down is also the area connection of Peekskill. Both my biological and my adopted on my mother's side, that's where the families are from. That's the base of operations. When I went up to Aunt Audrey's the other week, I'm looking at Bear Mountain, and I'm looking at the same exact thing that I've looked at my entire life, just from a slightly different point of view. If Bear Mountain is here where my face is, looking at it from here or looking at it from here. We spent times during the summer on Lake Peekskill. I mean, what are the chances? I mean, the interconnectedness is of high strangeness, high weirdness. It definitely is. I have not read any other adoptee storyline where there is any, much less so much, of this interconnectedness. It's amazing. Wow, totally amazing. So that's the strange stuff that's been going on. Just to end off on, again, my patriarchal side, so to speak. I made a reference to my wife, I think it was the beginning of last week. Being an old school, hardcore gamer that I am, especially a Dungeons and Dragons fanatic, sometimes I phrase things like that. And I said to my wife concerning how amazing the situation is, that everyone on both sides of my family, adopted and biological, is so positive and encouraging and behind me and supportive of this, and how my adopted family has just been coming out of the woodwork to come meet me and know me and learn a little about me and spend some time with me. And everything, as I told her, is just crit hit after crit hit after crit hit. I just keep rolling these nat 20s. And I said to her, I said, sooner or later that one's going to come up. And it's not, and it's going to just take the wind out of everything. And my wife, being supportive, asked me not to, be negative about it. And my response was, I'm not really being negative. I'm just, I believe in plan for the worst, hope for the best. But I think that's what's going to happen with my father's side of the family, my biological father's side. Unlike my mother's side, who all knew about me and some of them were actively looking for me, yeah, I have a feeling my father's side has zero idea that I even exist. This is a strong feeling I have, and my friends Christine and Elizabeth also feel the same way after doing the DNA search and searching public records for me and everything. They're also under the impression that, well, they wouldn't be surprised if he didn't even know my mother was pregnant with me. And it would make sense that after he leaves her, he would name his next son John also. I mean, even though it's with two different women, why would you name one son with one woman John and the other son with the other woman that you're now with and married to also John? It makes more sense if he did not know of my existence. So I have a feeling that this is going to be the exact opposite. Once I get it, I almost said find them, but I did find them. Once I get in contact with them, and if they decide to have contact back with me, this is going to be 100% reversal of what we've seen with the Odells and the DeMarzos. But I'm prepared for that. And remember, in a much earlier video, I think it was the one, the shout out I gave to my siblings, and it's true, I did say that whether any of the members of the family are interested or want to get to know me or accept the fact that I'm here and I'm part of the family isn't so much the point as much as me letting them know that I know. Just screaming, yelling loud enough so that they can't totally ignore it, so they know for a fact who I am, and whether they want to deal with it or not, that's then on them, right? So that's the way I'm going to handle this. So that's a quick little update, and there'll be a road trip episode for Saturday. I like doing these road trip episodes, do a little light editing and splicing together. I'm really kind of digging that, even though normally I like to kind of try to keep these videos a little raw. I am digging the road trip videos, so that's going to be fun for next week. All right, so I just want to give everyone an update and continue to thank you for following me on this, because the journey's not over. The journey's still continuing, and now it's a journey to eventually get in touch with my father's side of the family, as well as the journey of me continuing to try to integrate into my biological family. And so that's all good. So thank you, everyone, for following me in this story. And if you yourself are an adoptee and you're going through all this, don't quit. Don't stop. If this is what's in your heart, if this is what you want to do, just keep doing it. Join support groups. I found several on Facebook, and they're very helpful. They're very supportive. It's a great place to either just read some positive stories or just vent if you need to. And this way you're venting to people that understand exactly what you're going through. But remember, they're also there to help you. So, don't stop. Do your DNA tests. Check the results. And just keep at it. Keep asking questions. Keep checking public records. If your state allows adoption papers to be unsealed, then definitely do that. If not, write your governor and representatives and let them know how important it is for adult adoptees to be able to find out who their biological families are. And if nothing else, it's worth it for medical reasons. But follow your heart. Stay strong. Keep up. It'll happen. It will. Life is all about change. Don't forget that. Every aspect of life is about change. So if you just keep at it, eventually your situation will change, and you'll find something. You'll get some information. You'll find that person that you need to find, or a person that will lead you to them. Maybe you're just going to find a second cousin, but they're the ones that are going to be able to help you. So keep it up, everyone. It's worth it. It is so worth it. Trust me, please. Thank you for joining me, and I'll be back with an update this weekend. All right, take care.